the highest paid public servant in the country in the federal government's Dr. Fauci.
Is he really?
Yep.
He's paid more than like the Secretary of Defense.
More than anyone in the country.
Really? Huh?
Yep. Yep.
That is insane. Let me look at Dr. Fauci here.
He's a piece of. Well, have you heard about his Tunisian experiments that he got caught doing that he was funding?
Kind of.
So what they were doing, and if you got anything, we don't do trigger warnings on this show because we think it's for pussies. If there's anything you don't like about hearing about like abuse to animals, mute it for like 30 seconds. So what this fucking sack of shit cocksucking motherfucker was doing was they were in Tunisia because it's basically called outsourcing ethics. It's for when you do something that you couldn't, you do
Africa.
Africa, South America, you do an experiment that you couldn't legally do in the United States or Canada or Europe, and you take it somewhere that they don't care, that they'll turn a blind eye to it. So what they were doing was they trapped beagles in cages, and they beagle puppies, and they stuck they had two sides of the cage, and one side was big enough to fit their head through it. They'd pin them down, stick their head on the other end of it, and they'd put a bunch of sand flies in there and let the sand flies eat the face off the dog to measure what it like the neurons that go off when it's in pain. That was your tax dollars funded that. Your tax dollars funded that. Dr. Fauci, the highest paid professional who were on TV calling himself the Dr. Truth and Science, and he's God and all this shit that we fucking worship. He's got a Disney Plus documentary about him. He did that. He's the one that okayed it, signed off on it, approved it. That's him.
He did it, or he just okayed it?
Well, I mean, he wasn't there putting them in there, but he's the one that approved it. Yeah, it's his thing. You got to be responsible. You got to hold yourself responsible for the things you approve of. You know,
they really did made a National Geographic film about him.
About Fauci?
Yeah,
Disney.
That's
Disney.
pretty lame, dude.
Did Nat Geo make one too?
Nat Geo is owned by Disney.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So that's why like Nat Geo appears on the Disney Plus app.
Oh, okay. Who would watch that? How much of a loser do you have to be?
Cult of personality type people, like
it is. It's really
weirdos, man.
Mass psychosis is what they're calling it. It's so like it's become such a cult. I mean, there's a difference. I mean, I'm not one of the people, like I know I joke and say COVID's fake and stuff. I'm not one of the people that thinks it's not real. Like if I've been around somebody that has COVID, I'm not going to go to my grandma's house the next day. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, if you're not vaccinated, you shouldn't receive hospital care. Like that's asinine.
So I'm looking at this, and Fauci's basically been the top advisory guy for health since like the Ronald Reagan days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the one that started the AIDS scare. He was like riling people up saying it was going to go airborne.